Do you ever feel stuck? Like there's something in your way, or maybe there's sort of an obstacle in your path that you can't see, but it's sort of keeping you from achieving the things you want to achieve or having the relationships that you want to have with others? I call this psychic baggage. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to identify the psychic baggage you might be carrying around and what you can do to put it down and move forward in your life in a way that allows you to be more fully present and fully engaged in your relationships, in your work, in your life. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Psychic baggage? Well, this is a term that I came up with just because it speaks to me. And when I use the word psychic, I'm not using it in the sense of like tarot cards. That's not the kind of psychic that I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is psychic being sort of the energy that, sort of the energy around our thinking, the energy around how we show up in the world, sort of the energy we can bring to our interactions with others. And so psychic is something you can't see, but it's certainly affecting you on a day-to-day basis. And of course, baggage is exactly what it is. It's something we carry around. And so let me give you a couple examples of what psychic baggage looks like for me. These are recent examples. One was actually, um, we just a few months ago, my wife and I, we finally tackled this project. We have this downstairs bathroom in our house that was not in great repair. It needed a little TLC, and it's something we've been putting off because it's one of those projects. Once you take it on, you gotta do it, right? And so we've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, and that bathroom was such that it kept getting a little bit worse. And our daughter has to use it, and sometimes guests have to use it. It's a little embarrassing to have them use. And so finally, my wife was the one that said, "We're going to do this. Let's just get this over with." And so we took on the project, did some painting, replaced some fixtures, all of that kind of stuff. And we got it done over the course of a week or so. And it was amazing when it was over how much of a weight felt like it had lifted off of me. I didn't realize how much it had been bothering me, right? It was on my mind a lot, and I don't think I was aware of what kind of a toll it was taking. So that's an example of a psychic baggage. Another example that I'll share is recently I recognized that I had this hang up with someone who works in my industry. It's another person that does something similar to what I do. And this is a person that I've never met, never had a conversation with. I honestly don't know a whole lot about this individual, other than a few sort of short exposures to this person's work. And I had a chip on my shoulder about this person. Anytime somebody'd bring up their name, I would not respond in a way that I'm very proud of. I would dismiss the work. I would talk down on this person's work. And it occurred to me that, recently I was having a conversation with someone and they mentioned this person's name, and my reaction to it made me feel gross. And so I had to take some time to try to understand what this is and what was going on and why I was showing up that way. Again, another example of psychic baggage. There's a lot of different kinds of psychic baggage we can have. Sometimes it's an unresolved issue in a relationship with someone else. Sometimes it is, some project that we've been putting off for a long time that we know is important, but for some reason we haven't started on it, and we carry it around with us. So when I think about psychic baggage is, the way I would probably define it is it's something that you think about often or comes to mind more than you would like. It's something that feels unsettled or undone or unfinished, or something that you feel sort of stuck by or stuck in. And importantly, it's something that, for whatever reason, when you think about it, it doesn't move you to action. You don't do anything about it. You sort of feel it, and it's not the best feeling, but you just sort of feel it and you stay there, and then you move on, and then it comes back and bothers you again. We all have a ton of psychic baggage. And what I learned years ago is that it's helpful to occasionally, I find it helpful at the beginning of the year, is usually when I think about it, to take a minute and take stock of or try to identify what psychic baggage I'm carrying around, try to identify a few of those that maybe are particularly burdensome, that are particularly heavy to carry around, and then to do the work to try to identify what's really going on and put them down. And so here's what I have found about how you step into it. There's sort of three steps that you can take. The first is, as I've mentioned, the first is to identify your psychic baggage. And for me, it's really a matter of reflection. It's paying attention to things that come to mind often, right? Maybe you have, like, there's an old friend who you used to see all the time. You don't see them anymore. Something feels a little off about the relationship and you're not sure what happened, right? And maybe you think about them every month or two, or they come up a few times a year. Maybe that is something that's hanging out there. Maybe there's an interaction you had with a coworker a few months ago that doesn't still sort of strikes you wrong. You still think about it. Still, every time you think about it, it makes you feel kind of gross, or it makes you feel angry, or it makes you feel whatever, right? That could be psychic baggage. It could be that project I talked about. But identifying, sort of having some reflection, spending some time thinking about it, or just generally paying attention over some period of a week or two to what continues to come to mind for you. What comes up? What things do you keep thinking about that feel unsettled? So once you identify those things, the next thing I do is then take a closer look at it. What's really going on here? And when I think about my example of this individual that I had this hang up with, when I really took a look at it, what I realized was that this was all about, when I dug in, it wasn't about the individual. It wasn't really about their work. This was about jealousy. It was about comparison for me. This person is really successful. They've done some things that I'm envious of, that in their business, things they've accomplished that I would like to accomplish and that I hope to accomplish. And I think it was all about jealousy, probably a little bit of insecurity wrapped up in there, right? And once I understood that, then I could step back and take a look at, okay, now that I know what's really going on, what can I do? And so that's the third step, is then to take some kind of meaningful action to put that baggage down. And so in my case, it was really, once I understood this, was saying, okay, rather than being, there's nothing that I can do to fix where I am and where this individual is at. But what I can do is learn from what this individual is doing and reframe my relationship to this person's work to understand what it is they're doing that I admire, what is they're doing that I would like to do someday, or that how I would like my business to grow, and study that. And so that freed me into a different relationship on my end with this. And I say relationship, I don't have a relationship personally with this individual, but my relationship to this individual's work freed me from that. I put the baggage down so I could move forward. We took action in the basement. We put some paint on the walls and we replaced some fixtures, and that was a way to release baggage. There's a lot of things you can do. It might be having that long overdue difficult conversation with someone that you're close to. It might be maybe apologizing to someone for something that you did either recently or long ago that you carry around and you feel bad about. Maybe you need to apologize to them. Maybe you need to forgive yourself or forgive someone else. Right? Forgiveness is more about what it gives you than it is about anyone else. And so maybe you just need to sit down and say, I forgive you. Maybe that would set you free. The other things are more simple, right? That's hard work sometimes. That's the hardest work, is in the relationship. Sometimes it's just buying that can of paint and painting the bathroom. Sometimes it is doing, taking an afternoon and doing that yard work project that you've been putting off for years. Whatever it is, you take some action to move forward. So 3 steps: reflect to identify what psychic baggage you might be carrying around, what keeps coming to mind that feels unresolved or unsettled, or where you feel stuck, that you don't take action on. Once you identify those things, dig into what it's really about. Is it just that you need to get started? Or that you need to, that you have something else going on? Maybe there is an apology, something you feel like you should apologize for that you haven't. Like, what's really going on? And once you identify that, take action. Do something to put that baggage down. If you do this, this is not easy work, but if you do this, you will transform how you can show up with others. You will be able to be more present in your relationships with others. You will be more fully engaged in your work and in your life. Not easy, always worth it, I promise. So I hope that you will make this a practice. You don't have to only do it at the beginning of the year. That's when I find it to be helpful, but it's a helpful practice anytime throughout the year or anytime you notice that you've got some psychic baggage that feels pretty heavy. You can do it anytime to set yourself free from that baggage. Thanks for being here today. If you found this video helpful, please like the video. Please subscribe to my channel so that you will automatically get future videos, and share this with somebody who you think might benefit. I'll see you next time.